Hello again everybody, welcome back for another deck profile. However, this time it's a budget deck tech that can still pack a punch. Not wanting to spend almost $300 to get your playset of Kales, Kabbas, and Cauliflas? Me either. But how about a deck you can buy all of for less than the price of one Kale? That's right, with the current prices on TCG Player for all but one playset of these cards, and with the last playset available to be purchased on eBay, this deck barely comes to over $30. Let's dive in, shall we? This leader Mira has great potential. His front side allows us a good chance of drawing a card every turn of the game and helps us overwhelm faster. When you take a look at his awakened side, he gains critical if we have 5 or more cards in our warp, which will happen almost every game, and he still lets us mill 2 cards if we need more overwhelm potential, as well as the standard ability of drawing a card with each attack. Also, you might have noticed his awaken ability allows us to pick 1 card in our warp and add it to our hand. You might miss those 2 cards you would draw, but with the ability to select a combo piece, super combo, or negate, or whatever you need the most at the time from warp, with a less random chance than just drawing 2 cards, more than makes up for the potential downside. Surprise, surprise, it's our 4 super combo cards. Since our leader's black, we play Supreme Kai of Time World's Protector, and once again, it's strong with our overwhelm mechanic making this playable potentially from turn 2. One of the key points to this deck's success is that the Mira leader as well as his battle cards are considered androids. It opens up a whole new toolkit for us to work with. Starting with Create Android, this is a great turn 1 play, especially if you go first. You thin 2 cards out of your deck as well as put 1 card in your drop area to help fuel your overwhelm cards. We play 4 of them. Next up is this deck's Negate Attack card, Speedy Surprise Attack. This card allows you to negate an attack, place 1 card in the drop area, which once again helps our overwhelm mechanic, and then lets us destroy a 3 cost or less battle card. We also play 4 of these for the removal as well as survival capabilities. On turn 1, we rely mainly on cards that set up our later turns and thin the deck, such as previously mentioned Create Android, but also including Towa Space-Time Unleashed, to search out one of our 12 mirrors in the deck in the top 7 cards, or Dr. Gero, Evil's Inventor, which lets us put one of the top 3 cards of our deck into our hand. 24 of the cards in this deck can be put in your hand from Dr. Gero's effect, meaning you hopefully won't be whiffing on these plays often. We play 4 of both of these cards. Speaking of all those androids, let's start with Terrible Creator Android 20. We play 3 of these cards to tutor either one of our 3 Encroaching Terror Android 19s for even more draw power, or one of our 2 Unfeeling Destroyer Android 14s if you think your opponent will be playing a pesky threat, or if you need another energy for the next turn. The rest of the androids in this deck are variations of Mira, starting with the one you're most likely to overwhelm. Mira from the Darkness, his 20k body, and critical make him a great early overwhelm play to pressure the opponent. Next up, we have Power Aura Mira, who only needs 3 cards in the drop zone to be played with overwhelm. However, you might consider playing him normally since he can easily become a 3-cost attacker with 25,000 power with his permanent ability. And our last Mira of the deck is Absolute Attack Mira. He also has a permanent effect, meaning we don't need to overwhelm him to get good value. He makes sure your opponent can't use any blockers when he attacks, and with Saiyan Apes bound to be making a great giant splash in the meta, whether it's your local game shop tournaments or regionals, he's a great addition to have to break through that giant wall of defense. We play 4 of each of these Mira. Moving on to our last part of the deck, we have the Terror Scythe engine. Starting with 3 Evil Psyche Zamasu, this card is 1 guaranteed block as well as being locked onto the field for the rest of the game for our combos. If you draw an extra Zamasu, he's an easy card to charge or combo. Next up, we have the all-star of this engine, and our best turn 3 play, Terror Scythe Goku Black. We play 4 of this monster, and he brings himself onto the field as well as 2 tokens with 10k power, and he has the ability to tutor 1 Zamasu from your deck and add it to your hand, to set up brutal turn 5 combos, while having us discard a card to continue filling up our drop zone for overwhelm plays. This card can potentially give you 25k combo power to stay alive through attacks from your opponent if you need to be on the defense, 15k from itself and its tokens, and 10k from the last card in our deck, Twisted Justice Fuse Zamasu. On turn 5 or 7, if you're unlucky, you can get a 25,000 power indestructible double strike attacker that when he is played he either removes 2 of your opponent's battle cards from the battle area, or you can choose 2 cards in their hand instead if you want to stop them from comboing out of your attacks so you can close out the game. Overall, this deck is a great bang for your buck if you want a cheap, versatile deck to play this format. It has a lot of ways to out-tempo your opponent, gain card advantage, and win the game. Any ideas for the next deck you want to see? I have a few decks in the works already, but I want to know what you are excited for. Would you like more budget deck techs like this, or ones more loaded with promos and super rares? Let me know in the comments, as well as anything you want to talk about with me or anyone else about the Dragon Ball Super meta. As a disclaimer, there is no sideboard with this deck profile because it is the beginning of a new format, and what I could tell you to run in the sideboard will change dramatically in just a couple weeks as the meta starts to settle. Best of luck on your games. I'll see you next week with another deck profile. Later, players.